Javi, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you, Eric?
Oh, great, great. I'm here with Rafael Silva, star of Compatriots, the star of Compatriots. Love the movie. What got you involved in this?
Oh man, this was one of those kind of universe things where it just literally came out of nowhere, and it was the most perfect thing ever. One of the things that I loved about it was the script, reading the script and seeing myself so much in it. So much of Javi's story is my story. So much of the experiences that Javi went through is what I went through. I immigrated to this country when I was 9 years old, and I struggled with bullying. I struggled with belonging. I struggled with fitting in, and as a queer person, then now portraying a queer character. Oh man, it felt amazing to be able to add to this story, and in a way it reminded me a lot of my younger self, and to be able to reach back to my younger self and add some love to that.
As I didn't know you were queer, but as a queer person, as a queer actor, what's your thoughts on non-queer people playing queer people? Because on one hand, like if you're $100 million movie, you have the latitude to find anyone you need for a certain role, but in indie movies, you kind of got to get who you can get. So maybe you get a queer person to play a queer person, or you get a straight person to play a queer person. But what's your thoughts on that in general, and kind of what's your thoughts on how the performances come through of someone who lived it versus someone who is looking at from the outside?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question, Eric. I think that first of all, queer characters are important in our society. Queer people are part of our society. We are here, and so the visibility adds this layer of understanding, adds this layer of respect. I think for me, but personally, this is the first time that I'm playing a queer character on film. All the other characters that I've ever played are either their sexuality was not explicit or they were just straight, which is wonderful. It's great. I was straight for a good period of my of my life, and then I discovered myself and I understood myself a little better. I think for me. Queer stories are important because it is a reflection. I grew up not seeing a lot of gay films or queer films, and so my hope is that the compatriots can help shine a light to these stories. So much of Javi throughout the first act of the film is Javi shying away from the attention, is Javi trying to hide, not only because of his immigration status, but also because of his sexuality, being afraid to be judged, being afraid to be himself, being afraid to be vulnerable. And that fear is rooted in not wanting to be ostracized, not wanting to be alienated. And so I can think of no other vehicle than love to be able to connect with a character and say, man, no, no, you deserve to exist, you know?
Yeah. And what's your thoughts on like queer coded? And I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't want to be, but like for example, like with Disney, you might get a Marvel movie in the future, so I don't want to mess that up. But like
From your lips
yeah,
to God's ears.
Disney is notorious for saying, "Oh, yeah, they were queer," but like you watch it in the text and it's not explicit versus a character that's explicitly queer, which I think we're in 2025, so it should probably be that way, I think.
Well, to be honest with you, Eric, I think that to be queer is so complex. It's something that's very intrinsic to yourself. To say that, well, you got to play it this way or you got to play it that way. Um, I, I really do think that it's more complex than doing a voice or acting a certain way or whatever it is. And I think that just talks back to the idea of the complexity of humans and how complex we are in nature and our different personalities. You know, to live in stereotypes, sure, it can be funny at times. but that's very surface level. It's the same thing as saying, every American has a Texan accent. Like, that's just not true. There are Americans from the Northeast or from the Pacific Northwest or from the South. There are Black Americans and white Americans and mixed Americans. And so to pigeonhole all queer characters into, well, this is what a queer character is, I think does a disservice to queer people in itself. There are non-binary people. There are trans people, there are gay people, there are lesbians, there are asexual people. And so it's such I'm saying queer because it's more of an umbrella term for all these different identities that are so welcomed and loved. But it's such a myriad. It's a beautiful rainbow of colors. And so to paint it all blue, I think does it a disservice, if
Yeah.
that makes
Well,
sense.
just to be clear, when I say queer coded, I mean a character that's not explicitly, say, gay in a movie,
Oh,
but
okay.
then they
Yeah,
go back and say, "Oh no, the main character from Brave was gay," but it's not
gotcha.
explicit. Whereas in Compatriots, you're not that you're you live the stereotypes, but your character is explicitly gay.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, I understand what you mean. Listen, I think that's something for each writer to kind of approach. Obviously, when you release a piece of art into the world, for me, I like to say that we're releasing this film. It's no longer mine. This is yours and everybody else's, and critique it, love it, hate it. I did my job, and so.
Well, I thank you for the movie.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. Thank you so much. But in a way, it's listen. Film is such a subjective experience at times, and my hope is that we can be a good mirror to society. We can be a good and clear mirror to our society, specifically in the United States, as we're seeing all these different things, happening in our culture, whether it's the ICE raids or the racial profiling of people. Oh, well, they speak Spanish, so let's detain them and then figure out if they're a citizen or not. I think that these are my hope is that this film can open the door to conversations, can open the heart to see that we are all human, we are all Americans, we are all part of this great, beautiful country. I was talking to someone earlier about one of the things that I love about this country is when I first moved here, when I was 9 years old, I learned about the melting pot and this idea of being a melting pot. And whether you think that's propaganda or whatever, it is what it is. I enjoyed it. And it's this idea of, man, we all bring our different seasonings. We all bring our different ingredients to the pot, and we put it in, and we make this beautiful stew, this beautiful soup. And when you look at it, it has all these different notes and all these different flavors. And to me, that's what this movie is. It has all these different flavors in it that allows us all to connect with these characters. At the end of the day, all of us, we have a desire for love. We have necessities. We suffer. All of us bleed red. And so, the respect, being a compatriot, being someone from the same country, of respecting one another, loving your neighbor. We're neighbors. And so maybe we won't see everything eye to eye, but we we can respect each other, and I think that that's a beautiful message of the film, and coincides with Citizens Day coming up on the 17th, and I'm really, really proud of this film.
Well, if you want to come next door and borrow some eggs, I'm more than happy to give you some.
Thank you so much. And if you
That
need some sugar, I got some sugar too.
there you go. From a technical standpoint, because I'm not an actor, so when you're reading a script, what kind of goes through your mind of how you're going to approach a character? Like, not, I mean, we only got so much time, so you don't have to get too granular, but just explain to a lay person like me, like, what are you reading on the page and what's going through your head as far as like this is what I'm going to do, or these are the ideas I have.
Yeah, Eric, that's a phenomenal question. I think that whenever I read a script for the first time, my first approach to it is let me understand the story. Let me read the story just for story's sake. Reading the story, really approaching it with kindness, with love, whether, I'm playing a bad guy or a good guy or whatever, I try not to attach these labels, but read the story for what it is. As you're going through, then you start to break down the script and you start to pick up motivations. You start to see the reasoning for this character to say that. You start adding subtext into so much of the dialogue. But that's all work that you do at home. You do alone a lot of times. Um, I That's the homework. Once you do the homework, then you're able to be on set and be with the other actors and really, really feel the moment. There's nothing more exhilarating than being in the moment and allowing all of that homework, all of that work that you've put together to then come up and it almost becomes subconscious at that point, and then all of a sudden, you have mannerisms, you have little ticks, you have all these little things that, at least to me and my approach to film and to acting, it comes rather naturally.
All right. Well, the Compatriots will open on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, and all major platforms in the US and Canada on September 16th. I encourage everyone to watch the Compatriots. And we'll just end on this. I just want to give a film recommendation from you, a movie that's either personal to you or a movie that's like, this movie's really good and not enough people talk about it. And you're on the spot, so you got three
Yes, I
seconds to
know.
figure.
I feel you. I feel you. Okay, I will tell you a Brazilian movie that I saw recently. It did really well in the award shows. I'm so glad that it did. It's called Ainda Estou Aqui, or in English, I'm Still Here.
Okay.
Fernando Torres, Walter Salles directed it. Phenomenal film. I think it's very timely as well. Talks a little bit about the dictatorship that happened in Brazil in the 60s. Lots of themes that are similar to some of the stuff going on today. So I would recommend it to everyone to watch it. It's a phenomenal film. Fernanda Torres is stellar.
All right. Well, that's a great, I've never heard of that, so that's a great
Yes.
recommendation.
I'm still
And
here.
Rafael, congratulations on the movie. Really enjoyed it. Love you. Love Javi. Javi's gonna live in my brain for quite a while. And thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Eric. I had a blast. Thank you so much.